Pathbook is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathbook qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathbook to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathbook.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Adam Mayhew from Hive Analytics, Senior Marketing Account Manager. How are you doing today, Adam?
I'm doing good. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you on, Adam, with us to learn a little bit more about Hive Analytics. And well, I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, wondering what you guys are all about. So let's kick it off with that, Adam. In your own words, tell us a little bit more.
I would say the big thing that differentiates Hive from most marketing agencies is you use an approach called contractual marketing. So instead of just having one big agency formula, which we take towards every business, we kind of have steps before we even build a team. We basically analyze the business in terms of all the different aspects, not just the ads, but, like the cogs, how they're actually functioning as a business. Are they profitable on the dollar? Because, throw a bunch of money into ad spend and everything, but it's cannot be profitable at each dollar. You're just making the profit keeping there. So essentially what we do is we analyze the business, see where there's opportunities for improvement, and then we basically build a team around those issues. So we don't even have a kind of fixed team. We have a team of around 200 people, and we'll construct kind of like a team of experts to solve that business's specific issue. We try and take more of a flexible approach because the issues that every business is going to face is different. So it's important to kind of have a very tailored, customized team. Otherwise, you're not getting the most out of the employees there. You're not getting the most out of the efficiency.
Okay, all right, interesting. And so that way, our listeners who are tuned in, then Adam, could get a good understanding there of Hive Analytics. What would you say then is that key problem that you guys like to solve for clients?
So I would say we target primarily brands in the healthy F&B industry. And in the F&B industry, your margins are really, really tiny. So one of the main things you have to focus on and that we help with is maximizing retention rate, getting those customers to stay for as long as possible. And also specifically with the healthy F&B kind of area, your cost of goods tends to be pretty high because it's niche, and you're often using high quality ingredients. So a lot of the businesses which we work with, their margins are so tiny. You really have to try and find out how to get the most out of the tiny margins that you do.
Definitely important. Okay, awesome. Great to hear that. So, I mean, you're talking about a little bit of the clients that you have. Would that be the vertical segments that you guys like to go for, or is there maybe another ICP for you guys there?
So generally, we're going for healthy F&B companies because we have the most experience with this. We kind of know all the different target segments, whether it's like health conscious, diabetic, keto, vegan, low carb, kids, or the moms wanting to eating healthy foods, these kind of things. We know these segments very well, and we know kind of how to target them at kind of each point in the purchase cycle. So this is kind of our main strength.
Definitely. Okay, perfect. Awesome to hear that then. And so that way, how would then somebody usually find out about Hive Analytics? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Currently, I would say, because we're in the process of expanding in the US, they use a lot of word of mouth, a lot of personal outreach by me. Generally, we do have the website, but we don't find that it's the main channel for acquisition. Generally, we do a lot of cold outreach, and then cold outreach specifically targeting kind of the companies we're interested in. Try to do as kind of like tailored sort of email flow campaigns, but
Definitely important. And we're talking about that U.S. market, right? For our listeners who are tuned in, if you're in the U.S. market or in Europe, you could always check them out at hiveanalytics.com. So then what would you say then the website plays as a role for website lead generation?
I think the biggest part of that is just having a place to showcase our work, having the case studies up there, and actually just having a strong portfolio of the things that we've done. Because I think if you take a look at the clients and the work we've done, and especially kind of where they were at the beginning, I think that's the best way you can sell your business. It's just actually showing the work. Everyone can talk and everyone can, use a lot of pretty words, but at the end of the day, it's actions that matter and it's results that count.
Definitely important. Okay, awesome to hear that. So is there any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
I would say you want to remove as many steps as possible between you and the client. Any little thing, any extra page, any even a millisecond that your page is loading, there's a chance that someone's just going to leave and go somewhere else. Especially when you don't have this face-to-face kind of communication. People become very impatient, and it's very, very easy to lose their attention. So you kind of just want to have that whole process as simple and quick and easy as possible. I think that's the most important.
Definitely would agree with you, right? I think it's happened to me a couple of times, just I will look at a product just kind of like, oh, it caught my curiosity. And if it's not loading, if it's not working, it's kind of like, hey, you know what? My interest wasn't really there. Let me just, search for something else now. So definitely would agree with you on that point. And well, let's switch gears then a little bit, Adam, and let's talk about you as a leader, you being the senior marketing account manager there for Hive Analytics. What are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
So currently right now, most of my days split between either managing the teams for our current clients, so making sure that everything is running smoothly. We have really, really good people here at Hive Analytics. It's like you have your orchestra with the fantastic musicians, but you need someone just kind of conducting in the middle, making sure everything runs smoothly. And then the rest of my day is occupied mostly by business development, trying to find good, solid leads that are worth our time. And then outreaching to them, just finding, ways to connect to the people that want to hear us.
Okay, interesting. Love that. So in your between time then, how do you like to stay up to date with all the news in the marketing world as far as trends, strategies, news? Is there a preferred channel that you like to go with?
I would say LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is probably the best for this, because you can really kind of cultivate to exactly what you want. And some really good people like Tim Keen. I don't know if you're familiar with. Some really good people in terms of just giving either whether it's resources and materials, market trends, or just saving you time. There's always going to be people that know more than you, and a lot of them are really good natured, and they are going to post their tips and secrets, especially once they're out of the game. Once they're successful, they give away their secrets.
Yep, and that's really nice, right? I think I've followed a couple of people on LinkedIn that give free advice out there, and it's really nice, right? You would think, there's a little bit, they do give a lot of free, and then they'll tell you, hey, come to a webinar or come check my product out, but a lot of that is really good information. So that definitely would agree with you on that point. And well, then let's jump into our next section then here, Adam, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for that?
Shoot, go ahead.
All right, perfect. Then Adam, first off then is, what is the last book that you read?
Mad Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It was basically it was a concentration camp survivor in World War II. Before World War II, he was a psychologist, and then after the war, he wrote a paper on essentially on how to find meaning in suffering. It's just fantastic. The first kind of 2/3 is essentially him recounting a lot of his experiences in the camps, and then the last third is actually his kind of thesis and his psychological paper. It's really, really fascinating.
Definitely important. Okay, I'd love to read that at one point, right? Those are some I think one of the best stories, right? Because they have a lot of story with them. There's a lot of emotion into them, so definitely would want to check it out to read them. Definitely. Thanks for that read. Then next up then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, Adam, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I think adding more personability, like not having to have the screens in between. Because I feel like once you're in the room with someone and they trust you, you could talk to them, and I feel like you can connect on so much more of a human level. I feel like the saturation of, sales and ads, everything kind of like, it's like a huge sea, and it's really hard to actually navigate through that sometimes and actually find the good people and the things that actually are worth that. So I feel like, yeah, if there was a way of, really just breaking down the distance and the barrier, just being able to be in the room with the people that need you. I don't know if this could be some combination of AI, teleportation, or whatever, but no, I feel like adding back in the human aspect.
Is it point? Yep, I would agree with you on that then. And then if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Finding leads. 100%. Finding a high quality, relevant leads. The amount of time I spend, and I'm not a good programmer, but I understand how to program a little. So, in the past, tried to write some web scraping stuff. And then sometimes you just get in a hole of trying to, it actually takes you longer to program the thing, to do this thing, than it would actually just rather me to do it yourself. I mean, that's because I'm not a good programmer. 100% being able to just, navigate through the websites you want to be able to scrape emails and contact information. I feel like I spend an unnecessary amount of time doing it.
Definitely. I mean, like you mentioned, it's unnecessary, right? Because you could be focusing your efforts on other things. So definitely some great repetitive tasks there for anybody that's out here listening. Reach out to Adam, right? If you have a solution for him, right? And then, lastly, then, Adam, is, I mean, you have the experience already in the marketing world, but what would that be, that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Good question. I think to set more clearly defined goals. I feel like while it's important to have broad and narrow strategies, I think I wasted too much time on trying to do everything, trying to approach so many different types of clients, so many different strategies to get them. And I feel like what works best is, for me at least, is just focusing on specific niches, and specific, more personalized kind of touches. I'll tell you, the most successful kind of like outreach campaign I ever did is where I just found the companies that I actually really, really wanted to approach. And I got their website, and then I took my phone and I took a photo and gave them a thumbs up next to that website. And I just wrote a very simple email. Hey, I know you get a lot of automated emails, but look below. I actually went to your website. I'd really love to work with you. And I got more responses to this than anything I've done before. So really, I think just trying to add that human touch, trying to be a bit more personal, even though it can be a bit time intensive, I think honestly is worth it, as opposed to just, approaching 1,000 companies at once. Just,
Yep.
It's either a wide net or you're spear fishing, and I prefer spear fishing.
Definitely. I mean, I think that being efficient is one of the key things, right? Because if you don't have it focused, you're just kind of shooting everywhere. It's just not going to work, right? So awesome to you, Adam. Adam, we are coming to the end of the show here today, but before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. So say someone forgets everything about the interview today. What is that one thing they should remember about Hive Analytics?
We are experts, specifically in the healthy F&B space. Know the market, know the big players. Years of experience, specifically, I think we increased our last client's ROAS by 90%. We like to think of ourselves the top dogs in this space. So if you are a business owner who owns a keto, low carb, healthy snacks business, we really love you to reach out to us because we think you could really help.
Definitely important. And to our listeners, you could always check them out at hiveanalytics.com. Adam, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to our next episode at Path Monk Presents. Thanks a lot, Adam.
Thanks for having me. We take care.